teach people what?
Not lessons.
I did not hear you.
Teach people, not lessons.
Thank you very much. And the way that we do that is that you ask inspired questions. Now, we're going to go through each piece of this, but I want to just give you an overview of what I've watched that makes an extraordinary missionary. And they ask inspired questions, and they really listen to that investigator. They're really present in the moment with that investigator. And then they will discern from the Spirit the direction they're supposed to go.
Sister Reem had a
Sister
comment.
Reem.
In the last district meeting, we went over listening, the Preach My Gospel part, and did the activity where you rate yourself on how well you're doing in certain aspects. And we talked about how well we put ourselves in the investigator's shoes. And for most of them, it was a sometimes we do. But as I thought about that afterward, I think that's how we are able to discern, is by trying to figure out how they're feeling about it, where they're coming from, and what the gospel would look like to them while we're listening to the things that they actually say.
All right, so we listen and we discern, and then after we discern, we got to teach that piece of the doctrine that's important for them. All right? Let me have you turn, if you open up Preach My Gospel. President Packer said this on page 92 of Preach My Gospel. He's saying that when conversion takes place, three things have to occur, right? Mm-hmm. What is the first thing that must occur? Let's go over here.
We must understand what an investigator must feel in order to receive conversion.
Let's go to Alma for just a second, because there's just this classic illustration of that. In Alma chapter 22, at the end of verse 3. So what we've got here is, let's draw this out. We've got this wonderful person by the name of whom? Who's this? Who's the preacher? Who's the missionary? Aaron. And we'll just kind of draw Aaron here, and I'm going to kind of put a little feather here because he's just kind of a servant here. It's kind of his feather in his cap. And you've got over here, you've got the king. So what have I got to put on his head?
Crown.
I'm going to crown the king, right? There he is. And so there's a dialogue that's going to start to happen right here. He's kind of curious about something. He's wanting to know where Ammon is, right? So, what does Aaron do in verse 4?
So he got transferred.
How does he say he got transferred?
He got called away.
The Spirit of the Lord has called him another way.
All right, so he's saying the Spirit called him away. Is there any other way he could have said it?
Oh, he left.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he left. He couldn't make it. He had another appointment.
Well, the mission president made him leave.
Yeah, you blame it on the mission president. That's a good idea. All of that could have happened, right? But he doesn't. He shares his testimony. Just a quick little testimony. So let's go over here to verse 7. Elder Murphy, what does he do?
He says, do you believe there's a God?
He does what?
That's an inspired question.
He asks an inspired question. And what does it cause for the king? He answers it. What's starting to happen here?
A cycle.
A cycle. There's a dialogue happening. There's a conversation starting to take place. And they go on. Now, you'll notice right here, he's going to say, look, if you say there's a God, fine, I'll buy in that there's a God. What is happening to Aaron in verse 8?
He's rejoicing.
He's discerning.
Ah, So he's discerning from the Spirit what he's